Hi, everyone. Welcome to spring in northern Idaho. Um, uh, we've all heard a lot lately about Zoom bombing, where rogue individuals of one stripe or another invade your Zoom meeting and make noise and maybe even share their screens with unpleasant propaganda on them and so on. And there's been some suggestion that this is some sort of existential problem with Zoom, and it's just not. For one thing, it's exceptionally rare. My Zoom personal meeting room ID has been spread all over the district for weeks and weeks, going out to every faculty and staff member at the district. And I've had this happen once. I had a visit from Professor Hanky Panky in a meeting one day. But it was very easy to deal with it and get that individual out of my meeting very quickly. We've seen guidance from everybody up to and including the FBI about how you can lock your Zoom meetings down so tight that this just can't happen. And what this involves in many cases is making your Zoom meeting so inconvenient to get into that in many cases your attendees just won't bother. And it's just not necessary. There are a few simple things you can do, both before your Zoom meeting and during it, to prevent this from being a major problem without impeding the access of your attendees to your meetings. When you first start your meeting, you can make sure to check advanced sharing options down here in your Zoom menu, just to the right of the share button. Click advanced sharing options. You can set screen sharing to only host. And you can reverse that in the middle of a meeting if you need to, if one of your attendees needs to share their screen. But it's probably not essential. If you do leave all participants the ability to share, though, make sure that this setting, who can start sharing when someone else is sharing, is set to only you, only to the host. This gives you the ability to immediately kill someone else's screen share by just sharing your own screen. This will knock any screen share that they have done off and replace it with yours immediately. Also, you'll probably want to leave one participant can share at a time set. Okay, so what do you do if someone invades your meeting and starts being disruptive, like this?
Okay, so I know you thought we were done.
Well, if this happens, just go to your Manage Participants tool, and as the person is speaking,
You want me to? Okay, so back to the refrigerator date.
you'll see in your Participants tool who is talking by the little green indicators in the microphone icon. If they're sharing their screen, you can also see that little blue icon there. First thing you can do is mute everyone and unmute, and do not allow them to unmute themselves by unchecking that box. Now I can no longer hear them, and I can go in the participants box to their entry, click more, and remove them. Okay, now that person is out of the meeting and cannot re-enter this meeting for the duration. Another disruption that can happen in your meetings is that you may see suddenly random drawings appearing on screens that you are sharing with your participants, or even nasty text appearing up here. You can shut this capability off entirely before starting your meeting by going to your meeting settings at zoom.us and turning the Allow Participants to Use Annotation tools to add information to shared screens off. If you don't want to do that, you can just deal with this on the fly by first going to your your share control bar, which will be visible to you but not your participants. And under More, you can disable participant annotation. As a preventative measure, you can also select Show Names of Annotators, so if something like this begins to happen, you will at least know who's doing it right away in the meeting. In any case, once you turn off the annotation capability, you can just open up your own annotation tools as the host and select the eraser and get rid of it very quickly by just mousing over those unwanted intrusions. You can now continue with your Zoom meeting without further interruption, at least from that particular Zoom bomber.